I'm here with my review of Il de Mushkil. Now I must say I enjoyed this movie. I did. It was overall a really good film, but it does have some problems. So as I like to do, I like to talk about different elements about the film. I talk about my experience, and then I'll give my rating. But in terms of the problems I had with the film, it's gonna lead me into spoiler territory. So my review will overall be spoiler free until after my rating. Then I'm gonna get into some spoiler talk about certain things about the movie, okay? The story is basically a love story. It's one of those A loves B, but B doesn't love A. It's a typical love story with love triangles, but the story takes a different turn. I overall love the story, and I thought that Karan Johar took a regular love story and made it more modern and more adult. I'm happy it wasn't a typical love story, but if it was the regular old love story, to be honest, I wouldn't have minded because of the writing. I thought Karan Johar did a great job with the screenplay. There were a lot of great dialogues and great scenes. There were the lighthearted moments, but there were also the serious moments as well. I thought this movie affected me not only critically and analytically, but also emotionally. I definitely went on a roller coaster with this movie. And I think the writing was so good that it connected me to the characters, the story, and the movie. Though I had one problem in terms of the writing, and it's not even the writing, it was the subtitles. I was enjoying the writing so much, I wanted to read everything they were saying in Hindi, but I felt like the subtitle guy left out a couple of things. For example, there was a line in which Ranbir said something about the heart and the mind. I know he said heart because he said dil, but the subtitles only mentioned mind. But there's another scene in which I hear Anushka Sharma say Lara G, but the subtitles say Celine Dion. I'm there going, I don't remember hearing her say Celine Dion, but then also I'm like, why doesn't the subtitle say Lara G? It wasn't a lot in which that you couldn't understand the story or you didn't get the jokes. It's just that I felt he was leaving out a couple of things and I didn't appreciate that. Before the first song, I actually said, these are the subtitles in which I feel like they're not going to sub the songs. And would you believe that when they got to the first song, there were no subtitles? This was the first movie I seen in theaters that didn't have subtitles for the songs. Watching the song promos, I actually said, I'm looking forward to reading the translations to the songs and then also seeing them in context to the movie, in context to the story. And they weren't there. And so, yeah, I was disappointed with that. I really was. In terms of the soundtrack, you know I love the songs, so I was excited to hear the songs in the movie, the full songs in the movie. But 3 out of 5 of the songs were more like snippets to me. It was like the song promo felt like a trailer, and the movie version felt like a teaser. I was like, why are they shorter? Why do they feel shorter? I didn't like that. I wanted full video songs, y'all. But I guess in terms of time, that's why he cut it down. And some people may have appreciated that, but me, I wouldn't have minded if they played the full song and just added on that time. Go ahead and do it, okay? And even some of the scenes from Cutie Pie weren't in the movie. And so I was like, where are those scenes, Karan Johar? Why are you teasing me with teasers that aren't even in the movie? But anyway, that's not the point. Also, one of the things I loved about this movie was the references to other movies. Some of them I got and some of them I didn't get. But I enjoyed the nostalgia of it all, okay? They had the line from I Don't Like Jokes, I Don't Like You from Kuch Kucha Hota Hey, Kucha Kucha Hota Hey. They had the instrumental from Kuch Kucha Hota Hey and they had Ranbir doing this. I was like, stop it, Ranbir. They had Kaho Na Ho playing in there, and I'm one in the audience going, Kaho Na Ho or Kucha Kucha Hota Hey. I'm just singing it in the audience. One of them I didn't hear was Kabi Hushi Kabigam. I don't know if I missed it, but I felt like I needed Anushka Sharma just to stand by a window and let her hair blow in the wind and just let me sing Kabi Hushi Kabigam. I just wanted to do that. They played songs in which I didn't know, like there's a song in which Ranbir is dancing in his kitchen, and then Ranbir and Anushka are having a conversation about 80s songs, and I didn't know those songs, but I still enjoyed those scenes. It's still fun. I loved when Anushka Sharma was wearing the sari and they're on the hilltop, the countryside kind of thing, which you see in all the movies from all the way back to the 70s to now. And she's in her sari and he's in his double sweater. You know when they wear sweater but they still have a sweater on their shoulders? I was like, oh my goodness, I loved it. And then they were in the snow and there's a joke about he's cold and she's like, hey, I'm in a sari here. And I'm like, that was so funny to me. Which is like, really what they do in movies. They're in the snow, but they're in saris and they're pretending they're not cold. Stuff like that. I just thought it was really fun. I love that about the movie. I love the references. In terms of the acting, I thought the acting was really, really good. Ranbir was awesome to me. Ranbir was like so committed to the role that his acting was authentic. That his pain felt like genuine. It had me wonder if it was more about Ranbir than the actual character. That after the movie was done, right there in the movie theater, I went to his Wikipedia page and just went down to personal life. I was like, is there something wrong with Ranbir? And then I Googled him because I couldn't find anything. I was like, but it just felt so real. He played that like he was truly hurting. And I thought he did like a fabulous job. But this is what I've been saying about Ranbir Kapoor, so like I wasn't surprised, but wow, he was really good. Anushka Sharma, she was also really good. I really like Anushka Sharma when it comes to acting. I think she is awesome. Now I'm gonna give a compliment, but it's gonna sound mean. I like the way Anushka Sharma is not afraid of looking ugly. I like the way she's not afraid of just giving those faces, whether it's like open up mouth, tongue out, whether it's silly faces, whether it's like mean faces, whether it's angry, whether it's like this crying, sad face. I like the way that she is not afraid to go for it. She is also someone who commits. Like even in Sultan, I love the way she was like really going for it with the face. I complained about her not looking like a wrestler in terms of her body, but her face was doing it. And even NH10, she was really good in it. But she is able to do light stuff and the heavy stuff. And I feel like her face is able to do it all. And there are people who pretty cry, or they're pretty happy, or they're pretty cute, or they're pretty silly, or they're pretty mad, but they're not really like going for it. She is not afraid to go for it. And that's just something I really appreciate about Anushka Sharma. I thought she was awesome as well. And Ranbir and Anushka together, it was just really good. Aishwarya Rai, she wasn't asked to do a lot, but really looked beautiful, and she did that as soon as she stepped on the lot, really. So it's like whatever she was required to do, she did it. She fit the quota, and I had no qualms. I had no problem with Aishwarya Rai. I actually thought Ranbir and Aishwarya Rai looked really good together as well. When Aishwarya Rai was on screen, I was like just mostly looking at her lipstick. Her lipsticks were really pretty. I'm sorry. And then I would just look at her and Ranbir just neck kissed the whole time. Like these were their lips, and they would just be doing this. Just be doing like they had like a passionate relationship, and it was just a whole bunch of this. And a couple times Ranbir tried to go in for the kiss, but I sure was like, I'm from the 2000s. We don't do that, okay? Yeah, it was a bunch of that, and so yeah, I would just be staring at her lipstick. I was like, oh, she is so pretty. Anyway, there's a special cameo from Sharma Khan. When he came on screen, I was like, ow! She went like that in the theater. Farrah Khan was also really good in the movie. He played a DJ, and I felt like Farrah Khan played the role like Farrah Khan, who just happens to be a DJ. I appreciated that the role didn't feel like the stereotypical, loud, egotistical cheater. So yeah, Farrah Khan, he did a great job. He didn't really have too much to do because Farrah Khan can do it all. Action, there's none, and I didn't miss it. In terms of my experience, as you know, I was excited to see this film. I personally like Karan Johar films. I do. I felt like even watching the trailer and the songs, I was like, this is a movie that if he made in 2003, it would have starred Shah Rukh Khan and Rani. And then Aishwarya Rai would have stayed Aishwarya Rai. And then Aishwarya's ex-husband would have been played by Abhishek Bachchan. But, you know, we wouldn't wish that in real life. But, and then the DJ, we're going to make that John Abraham from Where's the Party Tonight? We're going to keep in there, Not Your Night. Wanna Not Your Night? We're going to keep in the DJ. And then the beginning scenes when Ranbir had a girlfriend, that would have been Preeti Zinta with Shah Rukh Khan. And then when Aishwarya had a boyfriend, that would have been Rani with Hrithik Roshan. I'm telling you, that would have been the star cast if this movie was 2003. And I would have loved it, and I would have looked forward to it, okay? So that's why it just felt so good, because it also starred people who I also really like, and I actually think can act. So yay, I was excited about this movie. Even that scene with the flower pot, not a flower pot, it was a plant pot. And Ranbir is going like, Aliza, Aliza. I was like, I was seeing Shah Khan do, I was like, Aliza. Lisa. Oh my goodness, this movie would have rocked. Anyway, like I said, in one of these song promos, I said, I'm gonna laugh, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna love. And that's basically what I did. I laughed, I cried, I loved, okay? I've said many positive things about the movie. I love the writing, I love the story, I love the acting, I love the songs. But I still give this movie 4 out of 5. I think it had some problems in terms of the storyline, in which I'll talk about in spoilers. But I thought the ending could have been better. And I thought the beginning of this relationship could have been better as well. And so, yeah. But 4 out of 5. I loved it. I truly feel like I could rewatch this. And even though it does have its problems, I can overlook the problems. It's not for everyone, but I think if you like these kinds of movies, I think you're going to like it. I think you're going to like it here. What is that? Oh, that's Annie. That's Black Annie too. Black Annie. So anyway, that's my rating, and let me go into my spoiler talk. Right, so I said bye to some and continue with some others. Okay, so here's my problem with this story, okay? First thing, I thought that Ranbir fell in love with Anushka too fast. For him to be so deeply in love with her that is the basis for the rest of that movie, it just happened too fast. I felt like they only knew each other for 2 weeks. And half the time they were probably drunk. So it's like, did you really know her? I would have preferred if they knew each other maybe 6 months to a year. And they already had this conversation about the friend zone, but he wants to take it to another level, but Farhad Khan's character enters the picture. Rather than 2 weeks, and then here comes Farhad Khan and she's getting married and he still is like in love with her. He loves her so much. Also, the fact that he just broke up with his girlfriend. I mean, he just broke up with her and he was crying on the street about how much he was in love with her, that he fell quickly in love with Anushka Sharma. Too quick, too fast. You went from one extreme to another extreme, and I didn't like that. I just thought it was too much. And then he is suddenly in love with Anushka Sharma, that he wants to break up her wedding. It really wasn't a great foundation for the movie. But Ranbir's acting, Ranbir was doing such a good job. Like I said, I thought he was going through some real problems in real life. You're lucky that you have a great script to work with, because it's just like, it's too quick. And you're lucky that you have good chemistry with the person who is your co-star. Another problem I had is I could never figure out if Anushka Sharma loved Ranbir. I didn't know if she loved him but she didn't want to love him, or she never thought of him that way. I couldn't figure it out. Even the part when she left Farhad Khan in the movie, why didn't she go to him? Was it because she had cancer and she didn't want to love him and die? Or was it because she didn't love him and so she didn't want to go to him because it would have been an awkward relationship? I can't tell you if Anushka loved him in that sense. I really can't. And then lastly, that conclusion. When I found out that Anushka Sharma had cancer, when she took off that hat, actually I'm a kid, I just went like, I ain't doing it. Like, I went like that. And I said out loud, yes, I'm the black girl who talks in the theaters. I just said, Karen Johar done gave this girl cancer. I couldn't believe it. I just thought he took a cheap shot. I thought he took an easy way out. And he never really concluded the movie. Even at the end, when Ranbir is saying, I friend you, and she says, I friend you, I didn't believe it. It wasn't an ending. It just took us right back to the scene where they were both underneath the blanket, and she says, you're my best friend. That's where it took us. Because I felt like 2 weeks later, she would kick him out again because he would be professing his love to her. Half of me wanted the quintessential romantic ending, such as an actual airport scene or her realizing that she was in love with him. And half of me wanted it to have a sad ending, but I just wanted him to conclude it. I just really felt sad for Ranbir's character in the movie. I actually even kind of like, just give him cancer, let him die so he doesn't have to feel this pain anymore, so that he doesn't have to go around this circle anymore, so this relationship can stop doing this. End it, Karan Johar. I actually want it to be love or separation. Pick one, not this, because this just was just misery. The ending of them just being BFF was just BS. I didn't buy it. But like I said, I loved the movie. So if you want to share what you thought about the movie in the comments, go ahead. I'm excited to read them. Alright, so bye.